Hi, I'm Ollie, and I travel the world in search of great food. For this series, I've come here to Italy to be inspired by Rome's most talented home cooks. I'm going to find out their secrets, and then head to the studio kitchen to cook an easy-to-follow recipe that even I can do. Today, I'm frying leftover risotto. With so many dishes to choose from, it's hard to pick a favourite, but if I had to, I'd say my favourite Italian food is probably the risotto. When cooked well, it's creamy, it's filling, it's full of flavour. When cooked badly, it's a terrible watery mess. I think I make quite a good risotto, but I've travelled here to the north of Rome to meet Maurizia, who has promised me that she knows everything that there is to know about how to make a perfect homemade risotto. Hi, Maurizia. Hi, Ollie.
Hi.
Pleasure.
Nice to see you.
I hear that you are the risotto expert.
Let's go. Here there is my kitchen. It's my favorite room in the house.
Beautiful.
Have you ever made a risotto before?
Yeah, many times. My secret ingredient is cream.
No, you are joking.
I am
I'm
joking.
Sure about
I am joking.
Prepare a risotto with a shallot. You can also use onion. Just remember that there is the risk that can cover the other ingredients. Right. We have to cut the shallot in very thin slice. My grandmother used to say that the shallot had to be as small as a rice grain.
That's the standard then?
That's the standard. Why? So when you eat the risotto, you will never have the sensation to feel something different than a rice
So you
grain.
just want it to kind of melt away?
This is the saffron. You can find pistil and you can find powdered.
And this is Italian saffron?
Italian saffron, which is a good quality.
Sure.
The pistils is more difficult to
fake.
mix without fake.
Yeah.
So it's the best to choose. You just have to remember, and we will do now, when before to start to cook the rice, to add a small quantity of broth or hot water.
Oh, and this is what's going to bring the flavour out?
Yeah, this is a step that you can skip if you forget, if you have not really time, but it's always better. My suggestion is to use oil or butter and add a small ladle of broth. We will have softened shallot, and this is the first step. After you toss the rice, you add the wine, and you start to add ladle by ladle the liquid. So we will add rice, stirring constantly, and you need to check that all the grain became translucent. All the rice grain are covered by the oil. Like this, all the starch will stay inside the rice grain, and the starch will give this special cream to your preparation. Now, you can raise a little bit the flame. And you continue.
I love that sound.
Now that all the alcohol is evaporated, add the broth.
This is the exciting part, isn't
Take the first ladle, and you start to stir.
I love seeing the rice dance at the bottom.
You feel the right moment when the rice needs stock.
And so this is a matter of instinct for you now?
Yes, no, because it's a feeling that you have with him. We say that there is a kind of preparation called all'onda, risotto on wave.
So kind of a little bit of resistance in the pan, but not too liquidy, not too strong.
Now, look, the saffron. Allora, you have to calculate about 10 pistils each portion. We add the butter, too creamy, the risotto. In this case, the parmesan.
Amazing.
Because the saffron risotto needs parmesan. And we wait a few minutes. And just for decoration, some parsley. Our risotto is ready.
Oh, that looks amazing. Look at the colour.
And you have not to eat all today, because you know that with the risotto from the day before, we prepare fantastic suppli or arancini, the bowl of rice with some cheese inside that you can fry.
Can we stop talking about tomorrow's food and eat today's food?
Fantastic.
Oh my goodness.
It's delicious. Do you love it?
That's really beautiful. That's so simple. Obviously you taste the saffron, but it's quite mild, isn't it?
And imagine that with the saffron, you can add a lot of ingredients too. You can add zucchini, so you have another one. You can add shrimps.
Well, look, you're an absolute wealth of knowledge. I don't think I'm going to be creating a risotto to this standard. I'm going to head back to the kitchen and see if I can take inspiration from this incredible day. Risotto is my favourite food, and frying things is my favourite way to cook food. So today, I'm going to combine those two. Yesterday, I followed Maurizia's recipe and made an incredible saffron risotto, but I still have some left over. So my plan is to form it into balls, fry it, and make some incredible arancini with a little chili twist. First things first, I'm going to prepare my chili sauce filling, and for that, I'm using this. This is a sauce that I buy in Brick Lane in London. It's made by the Rib Man. He makes this with Scotch bonnet chilies. It's super, super, super hot, so a little's going to go a long way. So to make this easier to handle, I'm just going to be freezing small little droplets. So I'm just going to put a tiny little amount, and this really is so hot, a little's going to go a very long way. While I wait for the hot sauce to freeze, I'm going to make my pane egg station. For that, big bowl for the flour and another for the eggs. So to start with, I'm going to make some seasoned flour. This is just normal plain white flour. And then to this flour, I'm going to add a generous pinch or two of salt. And then some of this incredible smoked paprika. And then I mix. Next, I'm going to prepare some eggs. So I'll just crack them straight into the bowl. These are medium eggs, so I'm going to need about 4 or 5. Small pinch of salt, and I whisk. Then finally, I'm going to get my breadcrumbs ready. So for this, I'm going to be using 2 types of breadcrumbs. The first is just regular, very, very coarse, fine breadcrumbs. And then to this, to add a little extra crunch, I'm going to be using some Japanese panko, as used for tonkatsu. These are really, really fine, really flaky, really fluffy. So I'm going to do about half and half of each. Give these a little mix. Then I'll put these to one side for later. Next for the cheese, I'm going to use this amazing buffalo mozzarella, which should melt really well, give an amazing stringy inside. So I'm just going to prepare the mozzarella. Going to slice the mozzarella like this. Some slices like this. And then to help remove the moisture, I'm just going to place them on a paper towel. And then just place some more paper towel on top to let the moisture soak out. Traditionally, arancini are deep fried, but if you don't have a deep fryer at home, I always think it's safer to shallow fry things. So I found the biggest pot that I can, and in it I've added an inch of peanut oil. And while we're waiting for our oil to get up to temperature, I'm going to do the fun part, which is shaping my balls. To shape the arancini, I'm going to take a handful of this risotto, which is quite cold because I've left it in the fridge overnight. I'll just shape this into roughly the right kind of shape. Then I'm going to take a mozzarella stick and just dip it in this hot sauce. It really is super, super spicy, so a little will go a long way. Then I place the mozzarella inside the rice and add a final little bit on top. Now, using my hands, I'm just going to shape this into a ball, making sure there's no way that mozzarella can escape. Then I'm going to roll it into this seasoned flour. Then I'll take it and put it in the egg. Then once it's completely covered in egg, and roll it in this breadcrumb mix. Now I'm going to put them in the fridge for 5 minutes to help them keep their shape. So they've had about 5 minutes to set and they've kept their shape well. As you can see, they're quite big, so they're going to take quite a while to cook. So we're going to cook them at a relatively low temperature of about 170 degrees. Now, I don't have a thermometer, but the way that I check to see if oil is done is to simply take one of these breadcrumbs. And if it sinks to the bottom, the temperature's too low. If it stays at the top and starts bubbling, we're just at the right temperature. Perfect, that's bubbling. I think we're ready to go. Okay, time to fry. So, just going to gently lower this down into the oil. And of course, when I add these, it is actually going to lower the temperature of the oil a little. So I've just put the flame up slightly higher to make sure that it stays at a constant temperature. I'm going to cook these for about 10 to 12 minutes in total, making sure they're completely golden brown on the outside and hot and gooey on the inside. So because they're not completely submerged in oil, I'm having to make sure that I turn them every couple of minutes. Another thing you can do is, if you have a spoon, just put a little bit of oil on the top part, just to make sure that continues to cook while it's exposed. So these are looking absolutely incredible. They've been in there for about 12 minutes. They're really, really crispy and golden. And what I'm doing is I'm just taking them out and putting them into this tray that I've lined with kitchen paper, just to catch that excess grease. So let's see if this has worked. Let's have a look on the inside. Amazing, gooey mozzarella. And you can see that hot sauce is seeping through. That is Maurizia's amazing risotto, turned into a spicy, indulgent treat.